In the mid-19th century, warfare was rapidly changing. New inventions were transforming the battlefield, and weapons technology was evolving faster than ever before. One of the most significant developments during this time was the emergence of repeating firearms, guns that allowed soldiers to fire multiple rounds before reloading. These weapons played an important role during the brutal conflict known as the American Civil War, a war fought between 1861 and 1865 that reshaped the United States forever. Before this war, most soldiers relied on single-shot muzzle-loading rifles. These weapons required the user to pour gunpowder down the barrel, insert a bullet, ram it into place, and then prepare the firing mechanism. Even a well-trained soldier could only fire about 2 to 3 shots per minute. In the chaos of battle, this slow rate of fire could be the difference between victory and defeat. But as the war progressed, new firearm technologies began appearing on the battlefield. Among the most important were repeating rifles, guns designed to hold multiple cartridges and fire them one after another without needing to reload after each shot. This innovation dramatically increased the speed and efficiency of soldiers in combat. One of the most famous repeating rifles of the era was the Henry repeating rifle, introduced in 1860. This rifle was revolutionary for its time. It used a lever-action mechanism that allowed the shooter to quickly chamber the next round by pulling a lever located beneath the rifle. The weapon also featured a tubular magazine that could hold up to 16 rounds of ammunition. For soldiers used to firing only a few shots per minute, the ability to fire 16 rounds in rapid succession was astonishing. When soldiers first encountered this rifle during the war, many realized immediately how powerful it could be. The rapid-fire capability gave a small group of soldiers the ability to produce the firepower of a much larger force. In some battles, troops equipped with repeating rifles were able to hold off enemy attacks far longer than expected. The design of the Henry rifle also influenced many future firearms. Its brass receiver, smooth lever action, and innovative magazine system set the stage for later rifles that would become iconic in American history. Even though it was not the most common weapon used during the war, it became famous for its effectiveness and advanced design. Another widely used firearm during the Civil War was the Springfield Model 1861 rifle-musket. Unlike repeating rifles, this weapon was still a muzzle loader, but it was highly accurate and reliable. The Springfield rifle fired a .58 caliber mini-A ball, a bullet that expanded when fired, allowing it to grip the rifling inside the barrel. This design improved accuracy and range dramatically compared to earlier muskets. The Springfield Model 1861 became the standard infantry weapon for many Union soldiers. It was produced in large numbers and played a major role in countless battles throughout the war. Soldiers relied on its reliability and accuracy when facing enemy troops across fields, forests, and fortified positions. The war also saw the use of other innovative firearms such as the Spencer repeating rifle. Unlike the Henry rifle's tubular magazine, the Spencer used a detachable magazine located in the buttstock of the rifle. This magazine could hold 7 metallic cartridges, allowing soldiers to fire multiple shots quickly before reloading. The Spencer repeating rifle gained popularity among Union cavalry units. Mounted troops benefited greatly from the increased rate of fire because they often fought in fast-moving engagements. The ability to shoot several rounds without stopping to reload gave cavalry soldiers a significant advantage during skirmishes and raids. As the war intensified, both sides realized the importance of technological innovation. While traditional muskets remained common due to their lower cost and easier production, repeating rifles proved that future wars would rely heavily on faster and more efficient firearms. One of the biggest advantages of repeating firearms was psychological. Imagine facing an enemy line that could fire multiple rounds in rapid succession while your own weapon required time-consuming reloading after every shot. This difference in firepower could disrupt enemy formations, slow down attacks, and force opposing soldiers to rethink their strategies. However, repeating rifles were not without their challenges. They were more expensive to produce and required more ammunition than standard muskets. Military leaders were sometimes concerned that soldiers would waste ammunition by firing too rapidly. Because of these concerns, repeating rifles were not issued to every soldier, even though many troops wanted them. Despite these limitations, the presence of repeating firearms marked a turning point in military technology. The lessons learned during the Civil War influenced the design of future rifles and eventually led to the widespread adoption of repeating and semi-automatic firearms in armies around the world. The Civil War itself was one of the most devastating conflicts in American history. Over 4 years of fighting, hundreds of thousands of soldiers lost their lives, and the country experienced enormous social and political change. Weapons like repeating rifles, rifled muskets, and improved artillery demonstrated how rapidly technology could transform warfare. These innovations also highlighted the importance of industrial production. Factories across the northern United States were able to manufacture large quantities of weapons, ammunition, and equipment. This industrial capacity gave Union forces a significant advantage as the war continued. At the same time, Confederate forces often relied on capturing weapons from Union troops or importing arms from abroad. Despite facing shortages, many Confederate soldiers fought with great determination using whatever weapons were available to them. By the end of the war in 1865, military technology had advanced dramatically compared to the beginning of the conflict. Repeating rifles had proven their value, and the concept of rapid-fire small arms would shape the future of military weapons. Today, historians and firearms enthusiasts continue to study the weapons used during the Civil War. These firearms represent an important chapter in the evolution of modern military technology. They show how innovation, necessity, and battlefield experience can drive rapid change in weapon design. The story of firearms widely used during the Civil War is not just about metal and machinery. It is also about the soldiers who carried these weapons, the engineers who designed them, and the historical events that shaped their development. Each rifle, musket, and cartridge tells a story of a nation divided, a war fought on countless battlefields, and a period when technology began to transform warfare forever. Understanding these weapons helps us appreciate how far military technology has come. From slow muzzle-loading muskets to repeating rifles capable of firing many rounds in seconds, the Civil War marked the beginning of a new era in firearms development. And even today, the legacy of these weapons continues to influence modern designs. The innovations introduced during that time paved the way for the advanced rifles and firearms used by military forces around the world today. The weapons that were widely used during the American Civil War were not just tools of war, they were milestones in the history of technology and engineering, shaping the future of firearms for generations to come.